Happy Friday, everybody. I hope everybody had a great week. Today is October 8th, 2021, and this is your Friday planning video. So today I want to continue with the list of things we want to look at going into the fourth quarter. Last week we started this list and I got the question, are you giving us homework? Isn't this what you're supposed to do? So the answer is sort of yes, there's a little bit of homework in there. So some of these items are things that you can do at home. Many of them are just simple checklist items. They are a lot of simple things. They're just not always easy to do. So some of the other items are things that we'll work on together, some of the things that I'll be working on your behalf. So let's keep the list going. Where do we leave off last week? Yes, we spoke about taking any losses you have on your investments. So this can be helpful as we go into today's first item. Review your account to see if the gains that you have in your portfolio have taken your risk to levels that you should not be comfortable with. Now, again, you've heard this a lot from me over the time, but we should look at possibly locking in some of those gains and for some of those overweight positions and bring your risk back to a proper level. I've spoken about it, as I said, many times over the year, and I spoke to a couple this week, and I reminded them that contrary to popular opinion, to people especially under the age of 30, that stocks can go down. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. We've seemed to have forgotten what it felt like in March of 2020. We've certainly forgotten what it felt like in the middle of 2002 or the middle of 2009. But we need to remember that risk is a four-letter word if it's not properly set up in your portfolio and if you're not at a proper level for it. So, okay, so that's enough for that for now. We'll be sure to talk about that in our meetings. So next, let's look at this one. It's time to review your tax exemptions with your accountant or your tax advisor. Did you pay too much? Or did you pay too little of taxes during the year? Did you win the I got a tax refund lottery? And that's otherwise known as I gave the U.S. government an interest-free loan for the year. I'm not one to tell you if a refund is good or bad, but it is something to work out with your tax advisor. Please just visit that topic with them. Let's talk about debt for a second. Do you have debt of any kind? Do you have a payoff plan on that debt? Are you on track for that plan? Now's a great time to review that, make sure you're on the right track and you're sticking to your plan. So let's revisit one from last week also, come at it a different way. Let's talk about your employer retirement plan. Remember those 401ks and 403bs. Unlike many of the other investment plans that you have, many retirement plans actually offer automatic rebalancing, what we've been talking about all day, rebalancing the portfolio for risk, automatically doing it either quarterly or semi-annually or annually. Now, if you're not set up on that, maybe you should think about doing that. But even if you're not set up on that, you can manually push that through. Usually takes a couple of clicks. If you have a question, you can actually ask me or you can talk to your plan administrator and we can talk about that. All right, this one's going to sound silly, but it's not. Please look at your statements. Now, you may not do this the whole year, but I'm asking you again, do this once as we go into the fourth quarter. I have the hardest time with paperless statements. I actually like to feel the paper in my hand. I like to look at it, mark it up and things like that. But if you're using paper or you're using digital, just look at your statement. You're going to hit a lot of the high points that we've talked about over the entire year. You may find out if your risk is out of line. You may find out if there's been any identity theft. Remember, we talked about that. That's big in retirement plans right now. And also, you may even find out really easily if you've maxed out your contribution for the year. So let's move on to the last one for today. And this one is going to be the key to making 2022 an amazing year for us. So do some planning. Think about your cash flow, think about your investments, think about your risk tolerance and your time horizon. Put it down on paper. What will 2022 look like for you and your investment plan? Of course, I'm not talking about performance because returns, we'd all love to plan for returns, right? We're going to get 10, 20%, whatever those ideas are. We can't plan for that. So that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is do I want to save more? Do I want to pay down more debt? Do I want to do better tax planning? Do I want to review my investments more often or less often? Remember back, as I stated last week, the Yogi Berra quote, if you don't know where you're going, you might end up someplace else. So keep that in mind. So let's keep all these actions in mind when we're reviewing and meeting in the coming weeks. It'll help us in our quest for a successful financial planning year in 2022. This has been another big market week this week, so make sure you join us on Monday for the market update video. These videos and a whole bunch of other other content that I've done over the last year is available on my YouTube page, so you can click through to that. You can also see it now on LinkedIn and on Twitter, and keep an eye out in my article in the monthly magazine, The Voice of Chicago, both online and in your mailboxes. So if you have any questions, you can always call me, you can email me. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. I will be in a special location for the video next week, so come back and see where I am. Have a great weekend.